What's up everybody? So today in this video I'm going to be showing you how you can set up sales reporting so you can see how long specific people spend specific stages of a single select field, which is kind of a difficult task to just figure out if you're just starting out with Airtable on your own. So in this video I'm going to give you the full process of building out those date fields and everything you'll need to calculate those dates. And if you haven't met me before, my name is Ben Green. I'm the owner of optimizeis, and what we do is we help business owners probably just like you help them optimize their information systems, so in stuff like Airtable, Asana, Slack, as well as stuff like Zapier and Integromat to really glue everything together and make it all work very nicely. So if you're interested, you can check out the link in the description and request a consultation from me or someone on my team. But without further ado, we'll get right into the video now. Alright, so as you can see, we are in our sales CRM, and I already set up 8 fields here because there's really 5 different stages that they could be in. We're not going to track how long they're in like the close stage, because once they're in the close stage, they're going to be in the close stage basically forever. So for us, there's this status field, and these are opportunities. So the opportunities come into our sales pipeline, and they come into this table right here. And so as you can see up here, there's a proposal stage, a qualification stage, an evaluation stage, and a negotiation stage. And then after that, they would move to either closed lost or closed won. So to figure out what time those went in there, what time they left that, and how long they were in each stage, we need a series of fields. So the series of fields we need one checkmark field, or just one field. It could also be a single line text, but I think it's a lot easier to understand with these check marks. So we need 4 checkmark fields, one for each stage that we want to track a time on. So that's the first step. The second step is you then want to create this over here, these 4 fields that are basically the same thing, but they're instead a last modified time, and you change the specific field of each one to the respective column that you just picked. So like the proposal time references the last time the proposal was last modified. The qualification represents the last time the qualification was last modified. Eval represents the last time eval was last modified. So I'll go in here and like check some of these so you can see that it's populating the eval time now. So now the last one is negotiation, and that follows the same principles. You just pick this and you pick when the last time the negotiation field was modified. So the only other field that we will need in here, and I will insert this one to the right here, is we can add a created time. So the created time, we can make sure to include the time field, but that will show us when they started out. So basically when they come in here, when they start out, when their record is created, they're going to start out in the proposal phase. And so from the time they come in here in the proposal phase to the time they leave the proposal phase, that's going to be our first one. So that's how we're going to create this first little formula here, and we'll shrink this down. And I actually just saw Airtable added, it must have been when I went right here, there was something about adding a trigger or something. Right here, trigger an action when this field changes. That's really interesting. That's really cool. They just added that, so now I might actually show you how to use this in this tutorial here. This is the first time I've seen it, but I think I intuitively know how it can affect the automation, so we'll actually try that out now. So basically how this is going to work, all you need to think about for now is there's going to be 4 automations. Alright, so all of these are going to be when a record matches conditions. So I was clicking through to see that trigger an action when this field changes thing got sideballed. But for this, when a record matches conditions, so when a record status matches qualification, we want it to check proposal. When the record status matches evaluation, we want it to check qualification. When the record status matches closed won, closed lost, we want it to check mark negotiation. So basically, we want there to be a trigger that happens based on it moving to the next stage. We want it to check mark that last stage to say that that stage is complete. So this is going to give you some really good sales reporting in here, and this is really going to be beneficial for your sales process to know how long people are staying in each of these. And just so we can get some good data in here, I'll check mark some of these so that we can see that as well. So an important thing to note is that you would probably assume that once they're in like one of these final stages that all of the other stages are complete. Maybe besides close lost, you could lose someone in between one of these stages. But this will give you times for each one based on where they're at in the process. So it'll give you however far they move through it, those are the amount of times that you're going to get, and I'll show you why. So first we're going to go ahead and build 4 of these automations. I'm going to show you how to build all of them pretty fast here. So we're going to go to automations. I'll go through the first one slow and show you, and I might skip the second 2 and then show you the last one because the middle 3 are the same. So this first new automation here, and this is going to be proposal. Proposal check. So we choose a trigger, so it's going to be in the opportunities table because it's going to be when a record in opportunities. The trigger is going to be when the status is the second one, and that's all we need here. So when the status is moved to the qualification, we can click done there. That's the only condition in there that we need. We need it to update that same record in that same table, and you just plug in the record ID from that first trigger step, and you come down here to the, it would be the proposal, wherever I can find the proposal. So proposal, and you just put a 1 in here. So now we should be able to come down to qualification, and we should be able to see, well, I'll untrigger all of these so you can see it. When I run that, it will check the mark with the 1. So 1 in like binary or whatever, it means that it's true. 0 would mean it's false. Check marks are the Boolean value, true or false. So all of these check marks would do that. So when we click done here, we can turn this on, and then we're going to set up some for the other ones as well. So now I'll do a new automation for qual check. And we'll do the same thing when a record matches the conditions. Go to the opportunities, change when the status is the one right after qualification. So when that is moved to evaluation, run that test, click done, add an action to update that same record, same table with the same record ID, and then you choose the field to be the same status, or we actually want to choose the field checkmark, but now we want to checkmark qualification. We want to put a 1 there. We can run that test. So you can see it added that there, and I'll check that one there because they wouldn't normally just start out in the third category there, but we'll turn this automation on, but it would already have the check marks there because it would have moved through the other stages prior to. So now we'll do another automation for eval check. And we will say in the opportunities table, add a condition when the status is moved to the one after eval, so when it moves to negotiation, run that test, click done, add an action. We want to update that record. We want to change the same record in the opportunities table with the same record ID, and then we want to add the field qualification, yes. So we want to check mark the qualification. We can run that test now. So now we should see, yeah, there we go. Or this should actually be eval. So when it's moved to negotiation, we want, good thing I checked this, we want it to check mark evaluation. So we'll test that, and it should check mark that one. Perfect. We can click done now and turn it on. So now we have 4 of them done. So now what we want to do is we want to set up a new one. So now this last one is going to be, what is this last field here? So this last one is negotiation. So we can rename this negotiation check, add a trigger, opportunities when the condition is the status is any of. We can say closed won or closed lost. We can run that test. So test ran successfully. We have both of those checked. Delete that off. Done. Add an action. Update that same record in the same opportunities table with that same record ID from the trigger. And then we'll choose the field, which would be the negotiation. And we'll say that's one now. So now we can say, yeah, there we go. Closed one. Bada bing, bada boom. So what that is now going to give us, so we turned all of those on. Make sure you come in here and turn all of them on. What that's going to give us is now we have a checkmark system that's automatically going to update this last modified time. So basically when you change the status now, you can say for this specific status, this is what time I changed that status. And the benefit that this gives you is now you can run date time diff formulas based off of those dates. So what I'm going to do to make this a little bit simpler to look at now is I'm going to hide some of these fields, or I'll actually just move them to the left. So I'm going to move this status one over here to the right so that we can see these 5 date fields and the status. So if these are blank, that means that there's no check mark. But what we want to do is we now want to set up 5 different date time diff formulas to tell the different time differences between these. And I'll show you how to do that very easily right here. So we'll just insert one to the right here, and you're going to want to add a formula in here. And this formula is going to be the proposal time. So now the formula that you're going to use is going to be date time diff. So you can start typing in date time and you'll find date time diff. And how this formula works is we have that little pesky trigger. You can tell it's a new feature with Airtable when it bugs out like that. But the date time diff, there's 3 basic operators. There's the deadline, there's the from, the to, and then whatever, like if you want to track it in seconds, minutes, milliseconds, weeks, quarters, months, years, that kind of stuff. Put that in single quotes in here. So this first operator right here is going to be the from. So from, this first one is going to be from the created time to the proposal time. So from created time, comma, proposal time, the prop time, there we go. And for us, because there's not like days in between me checking these things, we're just going to do minutes. Now there is going to be a lot of minutes for this first one because it says this record was created in 2017 and I updated it now in 2021, but maybe we'll actually do days here. So for this one, actually, yeah, we'll do minutes. So for this one, we'll create that field. And that should work out quite nicely. So yeah, so it looks like I always do this. I switch them around. So if you want it to be non-negative, you just type in prop time here. And then your created time there. And then you can still do it in minutes. So there's quite a few minutes in this one. But then as we go to roll it up, it'll show less and less, and so on and so forth. So now we have the proposal time. So now what we can do is we can hide this field. So we can hide this one because we don't need it anymore. It's going to automatically update, and so we won't have to mess with that at all. So we have the proposal time. Now what we need to do is we need to add another field in here. And what I'm actually going to do is if you just come in here and you copy this, so highlight that and copy it, what you're going to do now is you're going to insert one to the right here, add another formula, and just paste this in here. And now what you want to do is you want to say, instead of prop time now, we're using qual time. And instead of created, we're using prop time. So now that's all set up. We can create this field now. And I forgot to name it, but this will be instead of proposal, it will be, I believe it's qualification time. So we can save that. So now we have the qualification time. And if obviously if it's not there, if it's not in here, then it's going to return NaN, which just means it didn't work because there's no data to run the function with. So now we have those two. Now we can add another one in here, and we can say another formula. And for this one, we'll say evaluation time. And we can paste these in here. So now instead of prop time, we'll have eval time. And instead of created, we'll have qual time. And we'll still do it in minutes, and we can just go ahead and create that field. So now we can see that usually someone stays in that for about 4 minutes, which is about how long I was checking between this stuff. So now we'll add another field in here. So insert another one to the right here and add this formula. And we will paste that in there again. And we can say, instead of prop time, well, this one first, this will be negotiation time. So now instead of prop time, we will have negotiation time. And instead of created, we should have eval time. So that should give us some unique values over here, so that's perfect. And now we have exactly what we came here for. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to hide some of these fields because these are, you can see the little optimize symbol there, the little lightning bolt. Those automatically will happen when this status over here is updated because it will automatically check mark the respective check mark for that stage. So if I go ahead and hide this, and I hide this, and I hide this because these are all happening automatically, what I can do is I can also come over here and hide this so people aren't checking these. Hide this, and hide this. Now, when I say for this record right here, for Wolf RFI, if I change this now to the qualification stage, what you'll eventually see in here is this will add some more values in here. So if I take Wolf RFI and I also move him to the evaluation stage, then you will be able to see that it adds more times in here. And if I take Wolf RFI and I keep on moving him through these stages to negotiation, you'll be able to see that that comes in there, and it took 0 minutes to get him through those stages. And then if I do that again, if I move him to lost, dang it, lost him, it'll actually move that 0 again. So this is live updates. These automations happen in real time. So I know this was quite the tutorial here, but once you set this up, you can have a lot better sales reporting. You can see where people are spending the most time in those stages. Maybe think about whether or not you want to have more follow-up with them during that time, some automated follow-up with some automated email marketing, or what that looks like for you and your business. If you want to reevaluate some of your processes for, like, maybe if proposal takes a really long time, how can we shorten down that proposal period? Or if qualification takes a really time, what can we do to really get ahead on these qualifications? So really what you learned in this video was you learned a few things. So you got an introduction to Airtable automations. That was a pretty simple automation, but the concept of it is going to be really important for you to grasp if you want to learn how to use automations to work in your process. And it might not even be a process like that you're doing day to day, but something running on the back end to provide yourself reporting. Airtable might come out with some advanced features so you don't have to use an automation like that, but another thing you learned was how to use those last modified time fields, or last modified time fields, as well as how to write date time diff formulas. So if you made it to here, I really applaud you, and you're on your way to becoming an Airtable expert. If you can do all this stuff on your own, just build it out, I applaud you even more. And if you really enjoyed this video and you want to learn how to automate checklists in Airtable, I actually have a full tutorial right here in this end screen right here on how to automate checklists in Airtable using Airtable automations. You can automatically add tasks, automatically add collaborators and date fields and everything. So if you want to go learn how to automate some of your project management and how to automate checklists, go check out that end screen right there. But without further ado, hope you really enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.